All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to another episode. That's right, of the Lenswood Podcast. Hopefully, your favorite Chelsea podcast out there, and a part of the Men in Blazers Media Network. Dan and Nick back in our respective cities in our respected studios. Not on the road for this one, not taking in the blistering heat in Philadelphia and the temperatures, forcing Enzo Maresca to say it's basically impossible to train here. I would co-sign that one. It's basically impossible to walk on the streets of New York City yesterday and today. But Chelsea do get it done, and this is our match review of Chelsea's 3-0 defeat of Esperance de Tunis. And so it's a very, very good night here, Nicholas, to talk about Chelsea's advancement in the wonderful, the prestigious, the inaugural Club World Cuppity Cup.
Those Cuppity Cups are really coming to bear here. Yeah, I mean, just to give everyone like a sense of the temperature, because like I think there were like two sides of the heat debate that I saw all day. Just to say this up top, weatherman Nick here reporting live from the United States. It was 98 degrees at 9 p.m. in Philadelphia, which is not what it should be even during the summer. It's extraordinarily hot, and there's this like condition happening all over the East Coast called a heat dome, where a big pocket of warm air like sits over the top of a region for a little while, and it causes increasingly hotter temperatures as you go. And so that will hopefully subside by the weekend, as things really kind of pick up for the knockouts. But like, it's really fucking hot, and like not just normal US summer hot, which is already hot. This is like extra hot.
Just and to contextualize for our friends rest of world who do not use or who actually use the correct system in the metric scale,
I won't have slander against Mr. Fahrenheit, Dan. I won't do it.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, this is a podcast that caters to the world of Chelsea fans and not just all of those in the U.S., though we do love our U.S. listeners. 36.6 Celsius would be the equivalent for the temperatures that we were experiencing today, just to contextualize. But again, Chelsea
and that's
win.
At night. That's at 9 o'clock at night. During the day, 40, 41, like it got hot.
All right, well, we're going to jump in this one. We're just going to rip it because this is a 11:51 p.m. Eastern time recording, and we are going to knock this one out here. Again, 3-0 for Chelsea. Goals came in the 45th plus third minute with Tosin. Beautiful header. You had Liam Delap getting his first Chelsea goal, 45 plus 5. And then you had Tyreek George, 90 plus 7 with a little bit of the oopsie daisy into the back of the net, off the keeper, rebound and score. That absolutely got it done on the day. SofaScore would suggest, Nick, that Enzo Fernandez at 8.1 was the man of the match. He was the one that I had circled as being, I think, the man of the match on here. Though the Club World Cup differed greatly in who they viewed as the man of the match in this one. But I will say he did have a big fan celebrating him, though.
That's right. If you go to Chelsea's Instagram or Twitter, there is Tosin Adarabioyo with the lovely Michelob Ultra Superior Player of the Match trophy. And Cole Palmer, just all the applause for like, it's like a minute and a half clip. It's obviously Cole doing a little bit of trolling on his good buddy Tosin, and then Malagusto and Romeo Lavia walking over and go, he got man of the match. Like, what the hell? It's a very good clip, and it does show a little bit of levity at the end of what had to be a heck of a long few days after getting pummeled by Flamengo. So glad to see the boys are having a little bit of fun after a victory.
Yeah, and so maybe we'll just break it into the first 45, second 45, and then what looks ahead to be the next round. I mean, Nick, there were a couple of changes that Maresca made to the start of this match. I think he had projected in the conversation, the pre-match press conferences, and through some of the other media pieces that had happened, that we were going to see some rotation heading into this one. There was also some forced rotation with Nico Jackson getting a 2-game suspension for his red card incident. Not reviewable in any way, not appealable in any way. So
they upgraded it a game, as we thought.
So there were some changes to the back line. There were some changes between the sticks, and there were also some changes on right wing that maybe would be worth discussing.
Yeah, I mean, this was always going to be kind of a interesting game because of the prospect of the knockout rounds. I mean, obviously Chelsea have said the entire time that they were going to take this game incredibly seriously, and Despite the fact that the result against Tunis did not go 100% to plan, the lineup was vastly changed from Flamengo. Jorgensen gets a start between the sticks, which I'll admit I didn't see coming, but Sanchez not featuring this one. Josh Achembong gets a start. I think everyone happy to see that. At right back, Tosin Adebayo, Benoit Badiashile resuming their UEFA UECL partnership in the middle. And then Malo Gusto doing what I predicted in Keep Sell Loan, deputizing at left back and actually looking pretty decent today. I was happy about that. Romeo Lavia, Enzo Fernandez in midfield. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, as we all expect, new right winger. Why buy when you can just promote, Dan? That's why I say. Christopher Nkunku at the 10, Noni Madueke on the left, and new Chelsea number 9, goal scorer, Liam Delap up top. We had a lot of subs in this one. We used all 5, which I was very happy about. Andrey Santos gets minutes, okay? He gets goddamn minutes. We're going to talk about it in the second half. I had to say it out loud because some people in the back didn't hear me. Dario Sugo, Mamadou Sarr gets his first minutes as a Chelsea player. Tyreek George gets a goddamn goal. We're excited about that. And Mark Guiu throws himself around as only Mark Guiu can do. Unused subs, Sanchez, Cucurella, Colwell, Neto, Palmer, Chalobah, Reece James, Moises Caicedo, Aaron Encimino, and the goalkeeper who is just too good to play minutes, apparently, Mike Penders. Come on, let's go, Dan.
Here's some things I like, because I think a lot of people are going to knock the lineup and who didn't get to start and all these things. I like that a bunch of people that we've been harping on to get some rest and get some relaxation here, like Moises Caicedo, like Pedro Neto, like Cole Palmer, like Reece James, like Marc Cucurella, have gotten a whole match off in the blistering heat. That is fantastic for them to have gone now. They will go effectively a full week playing one game to the next game. Fantastic. Like, that is, you could argue against who started, who didn't start, who got subbed in. I think there's a lot of debate around that. I think the most important thing at this point was to protect some of your best players, the ones that I would say are the non-negotiable players. And to me, the 3 in the squad are Cole Palmer, Marc Cucurella, and Moises Caicedo as the 3. I would add Reece James there as the 4. If you can protect those 4, get them a match off, I think that's mission accomplished there. I would have taken a 1-0 win. I would have taken anything that got in Chelsea advanced if that was the example. We just ended up with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, I mean, it was not the cleanest football we've played. Sure. And I do think that, we kind of saw this during I rated this as like an early conference league sort of performance where it's like you threw a bunch of players together who don't necessarily always play together. So like your Lavia Enzo midfield, for example, it was okay, but you could tell they were kind of like not always spaced appropriately. Enzo then just starts to take over, and I think obviously is my man of the match in this game. I think yours as well. But the fact that you had Madueke and Fernandez not always on the same page from a passing perspective. Malo Gusto getting really inverted, doing a little Cucurella with the invert on the left-hand side, kind of jammed up the midfield at times. And then he started to overlap and do the thing that he's really comfortable doing with, or I guess underlap with Noni Madueke. It just felt a little clunky at times. But I think Chelsea were so comfortable from a stats perspective in this game. Like Esperance didn't really provide a whole lot of threat. We had 16 shots to their 3, 7 on target to their 0, 75% possession in this game. Like, we were very, very comfortable in this one. So you could afford to kind of tinker a little bit. And I think the team did pretty well to, kind of stretch their legs a little bit, especially like 40th minute on. It started to look like a team who wanted to go and score and win the game. Obviously, you get the 2 goals right before halftime and stoppage time, which I think helps dramatically. But I mean, I think it wasn't perhaps maybe the most interesting first half, but fine to kind of tinker around. And, I think you started to see, a player that I really enjoyed watching in this one, Dan, Josh Achembong, get a ton of really good experience in this one. looked really good in the first half. I think looked even better in the second half. So he was kind of the person I was most loving during that initial kind of turgid 40 minutes.
He had 4 of 4 on his ground duels, 95% accurate passing there on 105 touches and 91 passes, so 86 accurate there. I think in general, really, really stout performance. I think exactly what you want to see, mature defending. And again, there wasn't a whole lot of forward ball movement from Esperance. So, I mean, I think that contextualizes a little bit when they only have 26% of the ball. You don't have to do a lot. They did press at times, and they did push up, but they only made it so tight in the fact that we had just to do our usual recycling to go from whoever the most forward attacker was to midfield to either wing
Yep.
or central defense, and then back on the other side. Like we just did our regular circuit recycle to get the space that we needed again and to advance forward and get on another attack. So I don't think most of our defenders were put under a ton of pressure today. I guess maybe other performances in the first half. I mean, just, obviously Tosin gets our first goal. He ends up being the superior player of the match. I think he had a really strong game as well, too. It's also nice to see one more defender starting to develop that goal scoring gene at the moment. I mean, Tosin, that adds another goal for him, in his Chelsea time and in his Chelsea career. So I would love for that to be the case, that if he's someone who can consistently add a few goals every season, help out across all competitions, that would be excellent. I mean, he was at 4 before the start of this game. So if we're taking this as a continuation, it would put him at 5 goals and 1 assist for the entirety of the season. So 6 in total. It's not bad return for a defender you got on a free transfer.
No, for sure not. I mean, I think he benefited from maybe the size of the Esperance backline not measuring up to his normal Premier League standard, but
Maybe the assist too. The assist was pretty good.
yeah, the assist was bonkers good. Enzo Fernandez was my player of the match. I think he just took over and genuinely looked incredible. But what I liked about the header from Tosin is he just took it back to where it came from, right? He just hits it across goal. It's not a bullet header, but it's something that you watch the curve of it. It does curve. And I think that makes it a very difficult stop for the goalkeeper. It's kind of on the other side, and I think wrong footed. Their goalkeeper is a little dodgy, if I'm honest. Made Rob Sanchez look like Buffon, but I do think that there is a good developing relationship there on those kind of like forward set pieces that are in the middle of the field. You have players like Cole Palmer, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez who can bend balls into a really dangerous area, kind of away from the big cluster of defenders that's there to head it away. Like I like what I'm seeing there. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with that. But I think, Dan, let's talk about Enzo, because I think distribution wise, excellent. Obviously the 2 assists, excellent. I think the second ball in particular to Delap is just so tasty. And look, I mean, he played another 60 minutes in this one, 65 minutes. He is developing more and more to his game from an outputs perspective, from a goal contributions perspective. And when we're looking at a low block team that we're trying to break down, maybe struggling to find the right key to unlock, he found it twice and looked really, really good.
I mean, that would add another 2 assists to his total, too. I mean, he was at 14 all comps, and I think he did register another one prior in the tournament as well. So that would just be.
We got the goal. LAFC.
Yes. So I don't think he registered the assist then.
He's
so I mean,
25 then, right? So 3 so far.
Yeah, so you bet 25, which actually puts him 1 behind Cole Palmer's total, which like
Whoa.
he had a monster season under the radar, and I'm really happy with how he's performing in this tournament. I mean, I think we've seen that the South American teams in general have performed better than most of the other teams. And so I mean, maybe that is something to kind of take into consideration. But like he just ended the season strong, has continued into this tournament strong, and I think we had kind of talked about who our players of the tournament might be, and I mean, look, Liam Delap with a goal in this one could potentially with no Nico Jackson to get in his way is going to have a shout. Like Andrey Santos finally getting minutes could potentially be a shout. Boy, oh boy, we overlooked Enzo Fernandez as I think maybe a clear and obvious choice there as a potential player of the tournament here.
Whoopsie daisy. Yeah.
Whoopsie daisy. We're going to hold our hands up on that one here for the podcast and just admit when we got it wrong.
I think it's between him and Pedro Neto at this point, right? I mean, just for what they're contributing. I mean, I don't know. I think with Enzo, as we kind of look to close out the first half here, it'll be really, really interesting to see how the midfield configuration goes this year. Are we going to play a 3-man midfield, whether Cole Palmer is a part of that 3-man midfield, or you actually have like a Lavia, a Caicedo, and Enzo in there, or an Enzo and Andre moving forward as 8s with a Caicedo deep, or I think there's just a lot of different ways that you could potentially play that. And I think the key is just getting Enzo closer to the goal. Like I want him up there. I want him to be an additional threat. I think when he finds those little pockets in between the center backs and the CDMs where he can kind of turn and make quick decisions. Like he sprayed a lot of balls out to the wings today that I thought kind of made Esperance kind of spread out a little bit instead of just maintaining that like key, kind of 8-man block right in front of the goal, the classic park the bus formation. That sort of stuff really does help, especially as we keep our width in this team, because we can get very narrow, with the inverted fullbacks and all that sort of stuff. So I'm interested to see that. I just want him closer to goal. I want him to continue this goal contribution streak. It's harder for him to do that when he's playing a double pivot all the way back there. So closer to goal, more production, good.
So kind of talk about the second half then, and the fact that our two goals come in the stoppage time, which was quite wonderful as a way to just accentuate the end of that first half. Hop into the second one, we start to see some of the changes. He doesn't make them right away, but he does kind of give that opportunity for, I think, some more extended appearances in this one. I made you wait 17 minutes on the recording count here, maybe a little bit longer with ads for our listeners. Do you want to talk about your guy, Andrey Santos? I held you back for a pretty long time here. Talk to us about thoughts, feelings, opinions, getting a chance to see him on Lincoln Financial Field again, because he did play in that 4-3 game against Brighton in the Premier League Summer Series for Chelsea Football Club. So it's not the first time he has been out and about in Philadelphia.
I believe there's a Chelsea song that said, "We've waited so long, but we'd wait forever." Dan, that I think that classic tune. Look, I've yelled and screamed and been bereft of ideas about why he hasn't played. I am very excited to see him play. I don't know what this means for his future. I don't know how Enzo Maresca truly will see him once we get through the official preseason, friendlies that are coming up in August and get into the start of the season. The kid can ball. I mean, not his cleanest 35 minutes, I don't think. Like there were some mistakes in there for sure. There were a couple of fouls or a couple of giveaways. I think he mistimed his like body roll in midfield where he found space and was trying to roll forward a couple of times. So like I'm not going to pretend like he's a perfect angel who only does things perfectly, but two moments that matter here at the end. One, absolutely won a penalty that then the referee decided, nah, you can handle the ball in the box. It's one of the very worst VAR calls I've ever seen. Luckily, it doesn't matter in the results of this game. But like, are you fucking joking me, man? Bin VAR forever. Get rid of it. I'm done with it. It's over.
Did you see how sad Nkunku looked at the end of that one there? He thought he had his moment.
He's like, baby, penalties are my thing, dog. Come on.
That's my guy. I got this one. I need my shot. I need my opportunity here.
I knew that move coming up. And then, obviously he gets the very generous assist to Ty's very generous goal that the Tunis keeper then kind of fumbles into the back of the net. But I think there were some really good things in here, right? One, you saw him turn in that pivot and advance the ball very, very quickly.
Andrey Santos got the assist on the goal.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a very fortunate assist to a very fortunate goal.
Got it.
But
Okay.
it was a quick pass into an area that
Correct.
Ty could advance on, and again, I don't think Ty would say, "Well, I really deserve that one," but it's a goal's a
Why
goal.
not?
And
He took no. That's a garbage narrative.
that
If the goal goes back in past the keeper and you
Dan,
hit it hard enough to get it off him, like I'm sorry, you should absolutely celebrate that goal.
it was
You
fumbled.
shot it on target.
It was fumbled. It's okay. I am happy for both of them. I am excited for both of them.
You are robbing
I'm not
our
robbing
guy.
them.
You're robbing both of them. I can't
I'm
believe
not.
this.
I
You're
am
the
not.
biggest truther for Andrey Santos. You're trying to take away his glory.
No, I'm very happy that he got it, because there are a bunch of people in my mentions who are like, well, he's not playing that well, and then he gets an assist and an extra time at the end, which is hilarious. But look, he's a really good player. I'm not going to back off of that. I know there are a bunch of people who are making fun of me for calling him my player of the tournament when he's only now played 35 plus minutes, and that obviously was incorrect. He's not going to be used that much in this tournament. I don't know if we'll see him again in this tournament, depending on how far we go. But look, he's a really good player, and I do hope that Enzo Maresca sees him as more than just an more than just an Enzo Fernandez backup. Andrey Santos can do a lot of things on the football pitch. He's a great tackler. He's a great passer. He can get into the box and score. He is a really, really, really good player, and I hope we utilize him effectively as we move forward. But it seems very clear that he's fourth or fifth choice at this point.
Yeah, Enzo Maresca didn't have a whole lot to say afterwards. He talked about how we're very happy after defeat. We want to win to contribute to build the winner's mentality. The players were good. Agree. He talked about Liam Delap saying it's a good feeling for him and his teammates. We're happy to have him with us. Also agree. I mean, maybe just in general, like a couple things in our London's Blue secret Discord or secret group chat on WhatsApp. We were talking about his take on the goal. And our good friend Ollie Glanville mentioned it was very Costa-esque. Like it was a stand-up goal. That was a really, really good goal. I'm also loving his shit house in the box. I think some of the things that he's doing are I think very enjoyable to see. Now he's gonna have to stay out of trouble because he also was a individual who picked up yellow cards when he was at Ipswich Town. So just is going to be something that he has to take into consideration as he clearly can muscle people around and might get carded for just maybe a little too much of an enforcer at times. But I'm here for it. I'm here for the Liam Delap pair.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. I mean, it as far as first goals go, it was smooth. I mean, it was using your body appropriately. It's shielding the ball. It's putting your touch into the right space where you can strike it cleanly. It's not overhitting it. That was a confident strike. And look, I think he had one earlier where he was kind of lollygagging offside, and the ball comes to him, and he's obviously way offside, and then he doesn't even get a good strike on the ball to put it in, even though he still was offside. And I was really happy that he kind of switched on there. I think he said that he's speaking to Enzo Fernandez as much as possible to build that relationship, because he knows like that's the direct supply line for a lot of what Chelsea's doing in the final third right now is Enzo Fernandez trying to create something out of nothing. And damn if that didn't look like the start of a burgeoning relationship. He gives Enzo one in the first game. He gets one back in the third game. I think more of that to come, but it's a confident guy. He just looks like he's like good, giving a bunch of effort regardless of where the ball goes. And that's not something we should take for granted, right? That's something that I've given Nico a lot of praise for in the past, like giving an extra effort, doing an extra run because it's the right thing to do to maybe like free up a Noni Madueke or free up a Pedro Neto or free up, new right winger Kieran Dewsbury Hall to make a play. And I think like he's shown a willingness to run and make those things happen. And so really, really pleased for him. And I've said it after the match review the other night that we did with Ben Jacobs. I think that he is the clear number one heading into the season. And I think that Nico's going to have to figure out a way to work his way back into competition.
So, I mean, Chelsea somehow, some way,
unbelievable,
have figured out
this is unbelievable shit.
The perfect way to get further in the competition by suckering Flamengo into winning so that they get stuck on the side with Bayern Munich and PSG, and we get flip flopped. It is like the bracket is incredible for Chelsea right now. I
Break
mean,
it
look,
down. Break down the bracket for everyone who's at home. We lucked into potentially the easier side of the bracket, despite being the second best team in our group.
yeah. I mean, so we end up playing Benfica, which is, I think, a more favorable draw. People would say
They're
that's,
good though. They
they
beat
are a good
Bayern.
team, and
Yeah.
not trying to diminish them at all. Now, I mean, Palmeiras is also a very good team who's playing Botafogo, and so that is another matchup that they will also produce. I think a very exciting group or exciting kind of winner out of that group. I mean,
Botafogo
Palmeiras.
beat PSG the other night,
Yep.
which is not nothing. Palmeiras has looked relatively good. Obviously, getting the chance to play how it would be hilarious if we were able to advance to that quarterfinal. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Palmeiras, their record was in their 3 matches played was 1-2 with a +2 goal difference. The 4 goals for, 2 goals against, and then for Botafogo, they were 3 matches played, 2 wins, 1 loss, +1, 3-2 on the total. So they had the better record, as it were. But I mean, that puts Chelsea in much more favorable position than what we had coming our way. And so, whereas you felt like we were just going to go into this next round and probably get bodied and busted out, now you actually stand a chance to advance through the round of 16, potentially make it to the quarterfinals, and potentially, Nick, crazy enough, you might be able to end up in the semifinals.
Who else is in the draw, Dan?
I mean, who else do you want to be in the draw, Nick?
Who
First
else is
off?
on our side? Because PSG, Bayern, City, I think, are on the other side. We avoided that side of the bracket. I think it's Juve potentially.
All right, so you were correct, because the other side of our half of the bracket is Inter Milan and Fluminense, and then Juventus and Hilal. So you would be in a situation where you would face one of those 4 teams in the semifinal. I mean, are we doing some live content from New York City in the late stages of this competition, Nick? Because I feel like it might be on the cards.
Oh man. Well, I mean, yeah, a couple days ago we were pretty resigned to the fact that it was going to end in the round of 16. Still might, by the way. Still very much a possibility. We're going to have to play a lot better than we played, but the fact that you avoid, I think the harder side of the bracket, candidly, no offense to anyone on our side of the bracket, but it is a huge deal. And again, I think it's just like, if you're going to be on this side of the bracket, you might as well go all the way to the end and see what you can do.
Just win the whole goddamn thing. That's all I need to do. Take that 4-year badge, take all the money, invest it into players, and go out then and just win the Champions League next year. No big issue for Chelsea Football Club. That's just the chaos we like and the trophies that we hope will follow. But Nick, any final thoughts on the group stage of the first and inaugural FIFA Club World Cup?
The Company Cup vibes are vibing. Again, I hope everyone stays cool over the next few days. Weather over the weekend should be a lot more tolerable, knock on wood. And yeah, look, I mean, this is going to be an interesting few days for Chelsea. There's obviously transfer rumors and a whole bunch of other stuff, Gittins and all this sort of stuff that have popped up. That's all going to be happening. The further that Chelsea go in this tournament, the more it's going to be happening simultaneously. So we will obviously keep you tuned up to what's going on there. Have our good journalist friends on to talk through all the scenarios and all that sort of stuff. But for now, it's a probably one of the later podcasts that we've ever recorded, and we're going to go to bed now. So how about that?
Well, hey, you enjoy this one, whatever time of day you are listening to it in whatever part of the world. But Look, Chelsea advanced. We get more competitive matches this season, which is exciting for any Chelsea fan because it means there's an opportunity to win. And Chelsea love doing that, particularly when there's a trophy on the line. So hopefully you stay with us. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave some comments. Let us know what you thought about the first round of the Club World Cup. But until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.